Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now then, folks, hope everyone's doing well. Happy Thursday, happy almost the weekend, and almost time to watch Leeds United pummel Burnley 15-0. We'll go with 14, but yeah, only messing, 16. But yeah, just watched a press conference from Daniel Farke. So this is a bit of a combination. Got a bit of time to do a quick video now, so I thought I'd do one of the press conference and a little bit of a preview as well going into Burnley. Not much really to say other than 3 points is much needed, and I think we'll get them. But yeah, the press conference, I've took some notes, so we'll get through it together. So straight away, obviously being international break, he's really happy to say everyone got back yesterday, and they've got together today for sort of like the first time as a full bunch. Really, the only major bit of training they could probably do will be tomorrow. So obviously preparation isn't great, but we know this anyway. It's sort of obvious, you know. You've had people like Tanaka playing in Japan. You've had US men's national team games there for Aronson. They haven't played mass minutes, but just the whole jet lag, the flying, it's not great preparation for Leeds United in a crucial game. Any game's crucial, so it's not ideal. These international breaks cause, you know, no end of problems. But yeah, so he's happy he gets everyone's back, and they'll train tomorrow, but it's not ideal preparation, and there will be late decisions, a few slight knocks, obviously with the flights, etc. I've just says. He'll pick the squad tomorrow. He still doesn't know 100% yet his decision on the squad, so that will be sort of made after tomorrow's training. We'll see how they go. It's not a must-win, he did say, but it's a big game. But obviously they're all big games, and he did say with Burnley, it's a tough game in terms of last season we had 2 games against Burnley, obviously, and we didn't beat them. We lost 1-0 at Ellen Road, and we drew 0-0, so we didn't even score against them last season. And yeah, although he alluded that, the team's different, they've got different players under Scott Parker, he expects something similar. And the term must win he doesn't like. Like I say, we played them twice last year and didn't win either of them, yet still finished above them and still got 100 points. So it's not the be all and end all getting the win, but it's a big game, and he expects a tough game. Like I say, we're not beating them twice last year after such an exceptional season. They were 2 of the toughest fixtures. Mixed news on injuries. So you've got Lucas Perri. He's trained really well the last 2 weeks, which is good news. Willy Gnonto. This were bad news, and I haven't heard any murmurs of this at all, so this were a bit of a surprise. So he's had minor hernia surgery. So it's a bit of a bummer, because the last couple of pressers we've been expecting him to say Gnonto's fit. Definitely expected him to say we're fit now after saying last presser a few weeks ago that he'd be back after the international break. The fact that he's had surgery, yeah, it's minor, it's hernia. It's not anything too much to worry about, but again, it's annoying that he isn't back for this game, and then will he be back for next week? Probably not. He likes, the boys to have a fair bit of training in there. But this with Willy Gnonto now, it's gone on a little bit too long. Maybe he should have had this surgery a few weeks back. It's not ideal, because this is a game for me that we're screaming out for Willy Gnonto to start, especially with the injuries we've had, and to likes of Dan James, or with Aronson being on long haul travel and playing for USA. So it's not ideal that Gnonto's not fit. So that was a bit of a sickener here in that. Good news though on Dan James, ahead of schedule, which is brilliant to hear. He will not start against Burnley, but he's definitely in contention to be on the bench, which is great news. I do think with the Willy Gnonto news, it probably accelerates the need to get Dan James on the bench. I mean, could you imagine going to Burnley with Aronson jet lagged, Harrison, and we'll get on to Okafor in a minute, but then, no James or Gnonto again. It's a bit of a sickening not having either of them available. So Dan James on the bench, maybe if needed, latter end of the game, is there as a possibility. But yeah, Noah Okafor, hopefully this is something and nothing. But he is struggling with a little bit with his abductor. So he's got abductor problems. Don't know if that's one or two or many more, but he's got abductor problems, so that's less than ideal. He's a massive threat of ours. I mean, could you imagine the possibility of Okafor not being fit enough to start, say, or not in the squad, and having to go to Turf Moor with Brendan Aronson on one side and Jack Harrison on the other, with maybe only a partially fit Dan James on the bench. That's a massive concern. You look at this game and you come off back of international break, think, right, we'll get players back. If everyone's come back from international duty, we'll be okay. The squad will be all right. They've had 2 weeks. The people haven't gone away. They've had 2 weeks thought parts training, get to know system, all the new players, and then you hear of injuries to players, who haven't been away, like Okafor or slight knocks. And obviously, Willy Gnonto, I expected him to be back, and it being bad news again on Willy Gnonto. Worse news than what I thought. I didn't expect him to come out and say he'd had surgery. So obviously that's a bit of a bummer. So the sort of front line, it's a bit of a concern. Those wing spots either side of DCL, to see what we'll go with. He'll make judgment on, I assume, on Okafor and Dan James and a late test on Aronson as well after training tomorrow. So yeah, let's just hope we can get as close to our best version of that front line for Burnley, because it's not a game that excites me. I'm excited because it's football's finally back, but Burnley in the Premier League isn't one of those standout games where you go, I'm excited for this one. But it's certainly one we identify as a 3-pointer, a 6-pointer, but one we should go get 3 points of. It feels massive to get 3 points on someone below you and make sure they can't gain any points on you that weekend. It's massive. So it is a 6-pointer. It's a massive, huge game. These are the games that before the ball's kicked, you're targeting for maximum points. Your Sunderlands, your Burnleys, your Wolves, you're looking at those games and thinking, if I can get 4 or 6 points out of those double fixtures against these sides, then it's gonna stand in good stead to stay up. So yeah, having these slight injury concerns, it's nothing major, but to potentially have no Okafor, no Gnonto, and potentially Dan James still not being right, it's a massive problem, and it just goes to show it identifies more that need of another attacking player in the summer that obviously we know we all missed out on. So Harry Gray, he gets asked about the Harry Gray situation. I don't know how I feel about this. You'll make your own judgment. If you've watched a presser, you'd have to watch it to see. I mean, I'm big on body language and the way people react, and I don't know, I've seen a few different people say different things with this. So obviously he's back in team training next week, so he's still out. We haven't seen him kick him off under 21s for a few weeks. We know he was injured. He said that a few weeks back. So I've been waiting on. I think he turned 17 on the 8th, so he's had a week now. I've been waiting on the sign, seal, delivered, I'm yours sort of thing from Leeds on Harry Gray's contract situation. Not heard anything yet. I think Farke looked very sheepish. He was stuttering a little bit. He didn't quite know. He looked uncomfortable when he got asked about Harry Gray, like he didn't really want to speak about it. But that's not abnormal to Farke. He said many times before he doesn't really like talking about Harry Gray. He's 17. He wants to keep him out of the limelight as much as he can. It's difficult to do that when he's just at his 17th birthday and everybody wants to be rest a little bit easier by seeing that he signed a couple of years with Leeds United. That first professional contract, it's paramount for a club like Leeds. We tie someone down as good as Harry Gray as soon as he turns 17, and that hasn't happened officially yet. But he did go on to say he expects good news on the contract when he's fit. So reading between the lines, it looks like when he's fit, they'll announce good news on the contract. So if he's fit next week, hopefully he's fit, he's back in contention for under 21s and a bench option potentially for Leeds United's first team, and there we go. It's a 2 or 3 year contract signed by Harry Gray. That's what he sort of alluded to there. But his body language, the way he acted when he first got asked the question, I was concerned, thinking he's gone. He's going to announce it that he's leaving. So if you watch the press, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Just let me know. I feel like what he says and how he looks, it's two different things. But I don't know, Harry Gray's blacked out his profile picture today, which a lot of people are reading into Brian Mbomo did that when he was at Brentford, and he left and went to Scum, didn't he? So these things happen. You read between the lines, you come up with your own sort of permutation of what you think. That's fine, but hopefully next week, according to Daniel Farke, we'll have some good news on the contract once he's fit. I don't know why that matters, his fitness, when it comes to a contract. Just announce it. But yeah, I'm not too sure. Hopefully it's good news. He said it was good news, but I'm not too sure. Let me know what you think. I asked about Jayden Anthony, just give his own sort of opinion on what he thought of Jayden Anthony while he was at Leeds United. Fantastic person, unlucky with a few injuries while he was with us. Also very unlucky they had Perri Somerville in that as his main rival for that position, who got multiple, 20 goals, 20 loads of assists. Stellar season in that division for Perri Somerville. Top player, gets his move to West Ham, but he was very unfortunate that the best player in the division really that season, the player who was fighting for a shirt with him. But yeah, top player. He's not surprised at all by how well he's doing in the Premier League, and he's just a top guy, and he's got a lot of love for him from what he went through, obviously losing his mum while he was at Leeds United. He's got a place in Farke's heart. He said that, and he's not surprised at all, and he's really proud of what he's doing. He said obviously he just hopes he doesn't play that well on Saturday, but outside that he always wishes him well. Yeah, that was nice to hear. Nice little touch there. I think we're all big fans of Jayden Anthony as a person, and we all know the qualities he does possess. I'm surprised personally how well he's doing in the Prem, especially with the teams have played. I mean, to be on 4 goals with the fixtures they've had, I think it's great testament to how good he is. He scored over half their goals, so fair play to Jayden Anthony. But like Farke says, I hope he doesn't have a good game on Saturday. He gets asked finally about will Darlow keep his place, with Perri obviously being back in the fold. He says it's not a talking point for the lineup yet. It's Perri. He will not be starting. Obviously been out for a while. He's in contention obviously to be in the squad. But obviously the problem has been for Perri, even though he's been involved and been a big part of training for the last 2 weeks, he's not been able to train with the majority of the players that play in front of him. You've had he's only been Jayden Bogle and Strauch really, who sort of there. You've got Gudmundson's been away, you've got Beale's been away, Rodon's obviously been away in Ampadu, who plays in front of that back four. They've all been away in international duty, so he's at a position where, although he's sort of back in training and his fitness is there, his match sharpness in there because he hasn't played for a couple of months now since he started for Leeds, and the fact that he hasn't been able to train with the bulk of his defensive unit at Thorpe Park with him is definitely going to mean it's going to be a few weeks till he's in starting contention. So Darlow's got another few more weeks to sort of nail down that spot and continue to perform at the level he's been doing, because I think he's been doing really well. We got asked about Joe Rodon. And he actually alluded to a bit of tough love for Joe Rodon. He actually said for the minutes he played as a professional footballer, he was disappointed when he signed for Leeds. It was something he really wanted to improve on. Joe Rodon was his goal threat. And one of his proudest achievements for Farke at Leeds so far is that he feels he's got that from Joe Rodon. He actually feels like he's improved that. But yeah, he alludes to tough love. I always want more from him offensively in terms of a goal threat. With the headers and improving in that offensive capacity, and obviously like I say, he's very proud of it. You can see that now. Scored for Leeds, could have had a couple more goals this season for Leeds already. Goes away to Wales, gets a goal there. Looks like he's really thriving in the environment at Ellen Road. Definitely made it at home after not really feeling part of anything major really in other clubs, been on loan and stuff like that. It's nice that he's nailed that spot at Leeds, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet. And my player of the year so far, Joe Rodon. I'm quite surprised to it, because it's one of his proudest achievements at Leeds is seeing the development of Rodon in both boxes. But he thinks for the talent and the strength and the physicality of him and how good he is in the air defensively, he should be contributing more goals from set pieces, and he says it looks like he's pretty much giving that output now of what Farke demands and would want from him. So that was really good to see too. So that's pretty much it from the presser. Obviously a little bit of bad news there with a couple of injuries. Surgery for Gnonto, Okafor's a doubt. James is back in contention. Aronson, we'll have to see. Like I say, a couple of late calls on the lads that have been away on international duty, so we'll have to see. But yeah, just touching on Burnley, they're 18th. They've lost 4 out of the last 5, only on 4 points, so it's only 4 points off Leeds. Or if they want to beat us, they'll be right up his arse again. They've scored 7, so they've scored an average of a goal a game, which is pretty good for a newly promoted side who are tipped to go down. And then obviously you've got the fact they've conceded 15, so they're conceding more than 2 goals a game. Less than ideal. But when you look at the context of Burnley, they've played the 7 games they've played Spurs, Sunderland, Man United, Liverpool, Forest, City and Villa. You look at them, they shouldn't be getting knocked from Spurs, Man United, Liverpool, City or Villa really. A couple of games in there, your Sunderland and your Forest, and they've got 4 points out of them 2 games. So you look at that run, that's a very, very tough start of the season for anybody, especially a newly promoted side. So I think they've done fantastic of Burnley to be on 4 points with that, with that sort of level of opponent. Only lost by a goal to Man United and Liverpool too. Very unlucky in those games. Could have got a point in those games. Very unfortunate. But yeah, beating Burnley 2-0 at home, they'll take massive strength from that they can do with Leeds United. The other promoted side with them, Sunderland, they went and played really well and got a really good win out of their 2 goals and a clean sheet. Like I said, Jadon Anthony's on 4 goals in 7 games for a side that has played those sides, Liverpool, City, Man United, Spurs, some tough games in there. They've scored 4 goals. Lyle Foster, their striker that started all 7 games for them, he's a massive doubt. So that'll be good if he's out for Leeds United. So hopefully that's the case. I think he withdrew from South Africa's last game. So hopefully that means he'll be missing. They've got Fleming Hull coming there probably if he is out. But it'll be interesting to see what sort of Burnley we see at Turf Moor. We know Parker had Farke's number last season, but I do think looking at certain positions last season defensively. More importantly, they were brilliant with Burnley. Fantastic. We had a great defensive record. It was squashed by Burnley. Burnley were phenomenal. They lost obviously Egan Riley. They lost Trafford. They've lost Brownhill further up the pitch. For me, 3 of their best players are they good enough now? The defensive frailties are in there with the quality of the Premier League. They are conceding goals. Are they good enough to stay up? In my opinion, no. Are they good enough to give Leeds a game on Saturday? Yes, they are. So we need to turn up, play on the front foot. I'm hoping these knocks to Okafor and Aronson coming back from international duty. I'm hoping none of these permutations sort of aid Burnley, because they could do. If we have a fully fit squad, I think we'll blow them off the park if we go there with the right attitude to go win the game, because it's a game we should be targeting 3 points and I think we'll get them. But yeah, it's hard to call at the minute because there's a few late decisions to have for Leeds United, but this is definitely a winnable game for us, but they'll be looking at that equally, so it's a winnable game for them also. So it's quite a intriguing game, and shall I say I back us to win, and I'm going to go 3-1. I think they'll score. Won't be surprised if Jadon Anthony, but I think we'll win 3-1. I think it'll be very similar to Wolves. It wouldn't surprise me if we went 1 down, but I think we've got the mental fortitude to get out of that hole when our backs are against the walls. So yeah, I'm gonna say 3-1 Leeds. I'm hoping Okafor starts. I wouldn't be against Harrison starting on that right hand side if Aronson's not quite at it. Can do a similar role, but can probably get that ball into the box a little bit better for DCL, obviously with that synergy they built up as well at Everton a little bit. So I wouldn't be against Harrison starting as long as it's not in place of Okafor, because if we lose Okafor, we lose so much goal threat, so much attacking impetus. So hopefully Okafor's the one I look at. He's got to be in that side. So fingers crossed you fit Okafor. Come on Noah, you can do it, my mate. But yeah, that's it for the presser. That's it for the preview. Late night Leeds tomorrow with Boss Nass and AG at 10 o'clock on Friday. So yeah, make sure you tune in for that. But please take care. Please smash a like on the video. Please subscribe, and please hype the video if you don't mind as well. That would be much appreciated. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Love you all to bits. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.